Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today I'm gonna show you my updated build and some updated tips for Total War. But before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So first of all, I'm gonna give you the general tips that you should know about Total War, and then we can just quickly browse over my my builds. So on relay mode, like the build is still the same. You can copy this build from any player for the normal mode, but for relay, there's many things that you want to do in order to increase your score tremendously and not have something like this. So in my case, I have 3 formation slots, which the formation slots do make a huge difference. Most players are gonna have up to 2 slots, maybe 1 slot. So do keep that in mind. It's very difficult to reach a good score without the slots. And for that, the F2P way is just to claim all the event supporters, and that way you're gonna enhance your supporter collection. Now, I'm gonna mention some effects that are really important. So, starting with, well, actually before that, we ought to mention like how the teams are designed. So, after examining the mechanics and all the things that we can combine, I came to the conclusion that the best way to do teams is to match the kind of damage that you do, be that range or melee, with the same color of characters, all red or blue. And once you do that, the last thing that you're gonna match is teams of humans, demons, machines, and another combination that you can do is human demon, thankfully, thanks to Taimanin Shinmoran. But yeah, like nowadays the human demon machine are kind of going to be less effective than pure colors, pure red, pure green, in regards to the color of the character. So why does that matter? Because there are 3 important formations. Number 1, first mission bond, that increases the damage of assisted characters and melee damage. So this is extremely effective for melee formations, for melee teams. And then we have the equivalent for blue, which is Adventure Hunter Taimanin, which gives you protect damage increased by 12% and melee damage increased by 8%. And lastly, we have the red one, which is going to be Halloween Expedition Team, which gives you damage of suppressive characters increased by 12% and damage dealt with melee attacks increased by 8%. So, on top of that, if you're going melee, you definitely want to use the Cannon Warrior and the Fortune Teller. That's extremely important. Now, if you have humans or you have a mixture of types of traits, you can use Home Alone if you are doing melee damage. Home Alone is going to increase your critical rate and critical damage. But if you go with pure demons, then it's better to use Making a Splash, which is going to give you a little bit more critical damage by reducing the critical rate. But this is limited for demons. That's something to take into consideration. Then, if you are doing range damage, you want to use Themes Fighting Ninja, which increases the critical rate and critical damage of range attacks, as well as their Math I Tell You. This one is going to increase critical range damage by 18%. That's pretty big. Not as big as the Cannon Warrior, but still pretty good. Then there is one more formation that is worth mentioning, and that's Ex Nisha 8. So this one is particularly good when you cannot make good cohesion, when your team like has maybe a mixture of melee and range damage, or maybe it's not all demons, so you cannot this one. So in that case, just being able to increase damage dealt with the skills on the buffed enemies is very, very good. Remember that the more formation slots you have, the more damage that you're gonna deal. Like, it is not even funny how much of a difference this can do. If you check previous videos on this, when I talk about the effectiveness of the formation, it is completely different. We used to do like 3 millions, 4 millions, and now we can go beyond 10 millions. So yeah, as easy as that. Now, the next thing that we have to mention are a specific weapon that you're always going to use. Basically, you always want to use the Momochi weapon. You need one of your characters, and it must not be the main attacker. Preferably, it's not the main attacker, but rather one that has a supported build. Why do we need the Momochi weapons? Because these are going to increase the damage we deal with all the characters, and you want those weapons at 5 out of 5, like this one, so that they deal the most, so that your team deals the most damage. And because of that, you're also going to need the weapons at plus 15 and 5 out of 5, just to guarantee the crit, and so that you don't need to equip critical rate increase. If you're starting and you don't have the resources, you can add critical rate increase. Yeah, sure. But as you move on and you enhance your account, you want to drop that and you want to go pure damage so that you deal bigger numbers. And then the main supporters and that we have to analyze, because there's a couple of them. Number one, the most important supporter in VR, in Total War, is going to be Hisui. Hisui is going to give you a buff on the last 10 seconds that is going to deal a tremendous amount of damage, and you're going to be able to double or even go beyond double the numbers that you're dealing normally. So you need this supporter. Fortunately, you don't need this at 5 out of 5, because you only need to awaken this to max level, and that's it. And with that, you'll get the full benefit of the supporter. You only want to equip this on your main attacker. Remember that. And you also want, basically, the combo is this one with Akane and Kowaru. That's basically the combo. You could go with something else, but it is the one that I use, at least. Then we have to talk about the mains that you put on the other supporters. On the other characters. If you're going with a human demon team, or human or demon, either pure human, pure demon, or mixed, you want to use Taimanin Shinmora. It is extremely effective. If your other characters are going to use a green build, that's also important. Then, if you go with a blue build, you want to use Mirabelle. Mirabelle is amazing because it's gonna work on any kind of team, doesn't matter what, because it just gives a generic buff. And the combo is to use Mirabelle with Lapis, Worshipper Lapis, because this is going to increase the damage of the main attacker. If the damage of the main attacker isn't extremely busted, you can go with something else that increases damage, like the generic Bride and a Rose, or whatever you can. And on the last slot, you want Haru for consistency, so that you can activate the active of Mirabelle twice. But in some scenarios, it's possible to drop Haru. Just that in most cases, you do want to equip Haru. Keep that in mind. Then for red we have over here Where is it? It's over here. Spinel. Spinel is going to be your party damage increase to demon type for demon teams. Only if you go pure, it's worth it. If you go with like 2 demons, 1 machine, don't do that. And Asuka is gonna be the one to use for machine type teams. Now, let's do some highlights of the supporters that you put on the subslot or the main, because this one you can put on the main. If you don't have enough synergies on your team, machine or demon, and you go with red, Kichi Asusa is a nice option to put on the main because it gives you a damage increase and it has a party-wide benefit. Let's say it's a debuff that decreases critical resistance of the enemy, and you gain penetration, which is going to be pretty effective. Then another one that is good on the subslot is going to be Kichi Asusa, of course, that gives human type allies penetration, and it also gives speed to the character who has this equipped. And I think there is no one on green that you actually really want, because there are no like benefits, party-wide benefits on the other supporters, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, there's basically nothing special on the sub supporters. So yeah, those are some highlights. So now, very quickly, let's check the build. Can I? Well, I'll have to just put retry, and just for you to know, relay right now I am on spot 30. So with these kind of builds, I'm able to reach top 50, which is nice. I could go beyond that, yes, once I have like the 200 supporters on the collection, but right now that's gonna take a while. So let's check the builds. Obviously, I'm going to be using, of course, perfect damage increase Magatamas for all my characters. So that's a 0.3 multiplier for damage against demons. And the elements, usually fire, wind, water, and sometimes ice. And all the Magatamas are gonna be perfect, even though the sub weapon doesn't matter. And remember to use the best weapons that you have. Usually the S level matters more, but sometimes the effect is just too good. Like Murasaki's weapon, even though I have weapons at S level 5, like her Hawiya is still pretty good at S level 3. But since I have the anti-demon weapon, that works actually pretty well. So I don't need to use Hawiya. So this is the build for Sora. Sora is going to go mix, as you can see, but Sora is a very particular case because she wants to abuse Celestial Fox. And I'm not going to like analyze everything, but I'm going to leave the image so that you can just pause the video and check the effects and not the effects, but rather the weapon, the Magatamas, the skills, and the supporters. It's just way more effective. And as I mentioned, we always use those supportive builds on the other two characters. Obviously, Phantasma being the best debuffer slash buffer has to be on the team for the best attacker, Sora, at the moment. And Tokiko is one of the best debuffers in the game because she doesn't need to use the Momochi weapon. We're combining a Momochi-like effect with this SR, Mechanical Dart, and the Momochi weapon, which tremendously increases the damage. That's why this combination is so effective. Not to mention Phantasma's leader skill effects and her buff from the Succubus Whisper. So yeah, let's go with the next team. So for the next one, okay, the classic super buff Spinel. with Kana and the following 3. Demonic Arm Detonate, the Kana Blade, everything as usual. Obviously, the previous best supporter, buffing supporter, that was Shizuru. So Whip Shot, Whip Grip, Rose Rondo, Eye of Dawn, and then the supporters that are going to enhance our main attacker. And in this case, I'm equipping Kara, and I could have a higher score because I don't have this at 5 out of 5, just so that you know, the Momochi weapon is not 5 out of 5. And I did this because all of them are melee, and all of them are going to be suppress type characters, so I can use those synergies together. And as you can see, the buffing supporters, of course. Then over here I have the Asuka. This damaging Asuka is amazing. Thanks to the weapon, we can go with Mac Impact and Mac Punch and kill him all missions to debuff the enemy. Emily should go with her Christmas weapon and this, but the weapon of Mirabelle isn't at the right S level. That's why I don't have the Momochi weapon on this character, but rather on Emily. So to get more benefit, I do this one. Then Noah, main damage dealer. I should have the decisive weapon with Noah, or Mr. Wonder Bear at least. But since I don't have another Momochi weapon with these two characters at 5 out of 5, well, I had to put it on Noah. But remember that it's not the best option to put it on the main attacker. The buffer that synergizes on color, because all of these are assist, and red build with Felicia that supports Noah, but also deals a tremendous amount of damage. At times you want to focus not only on one attacker but 2 attackers, and one of them is going to be like not dealing damage at all, but is going to support them through the equipment. Here, Micah is one of the strongest ones, I tell you. But be careful. You don't want to put skills that you can activate too much. Like Carpet Bombing is there, but basically you never activate it, and the basic enhancer is horrible. That's why I don't put that one. But you want it because of the stacks. With Incendiary Round and Ruthless Explosion, you're going to deal so much damage. And then, since I want to go double green, because Fastest Shot deals the most damage, I go with this, the Butterfly Weapon, and all of these supporters. Phantasma is a pretty decent option, because we're fighting one enemy, so consider that one for your double green builds on one team. And then Sue is gonna be the debuffer / buffer. Pretty useful. Then over here we have the main attacker Kirara with a green build with the decisive weapon. I mean, Lina could be a main attacker, but I'm not using her as a main attacker because she has to go blue. That's unfortunate. And then the red one, because these are all demons, all protect, all melee, is going to be Ingrid with the Momochi weapon, as you can see. So keep an eye on those synergies. All demon, all range. So I go with this one. Ragnarok as a supporter / attacker. Astaroth with the Spinel on red to deal damage. And the BR weapon. And Eleanor on blue with the Momochi weapon. You may notice that I don't have Hisui. Sometimes the AI is not smart enough, or the timing of the skills is not right. So this was giving me more damage than using Hisui. And also because sometimes they don't combo right. So keep that in mind. Not always you have to use Hisui to get the most optimal damage. It should be the case, but not always it will be. Then, obviously, the amazing Saika. I should have equipped the... what's the name? Kowaru over here, but I didn't. Then Momochi Nagi as another damage dealer. And then Blue Asagi as the debuffer. Because Momochi has to be a damage dealer. God, she's amazing. That's why. Then, over here, oh my god. Even with an SR, she did so much damage. In fact, this is the most effective thing to do. Natsu is just great. Damage dealer Kurenai with debuffing capabilities thanks to Stormfang, and supportive debuffer buffer Sakura. Then over here we have Anna Rose with the what's the name? With the Hisui. Obviously, she's gonna use the butterfly weapon and her green skills. She's gonna use Asusa is going to use again as much damage as she can with the decisive weapon, with Shindara, double team, mirror image, and lastly, Rin is just going to be the buffer slash debuffer. Sometimes you cannot ignore the damage capabilities of these supporters, and usually, just so that you know, usually you want to use the skills that have the critical damage increase. This one is the last one that is actually kind of viable. Green Hebiko, Green Rinko as a supportive unit that increases damage for the team and applies the Mochi debuff, and Wind Slicer applies another hefty debuff. We have Lan with a blue build that is going to be the classic supportive build. Unfortunately, Lan lacks a niche, so that's why I just put all the important buffs for the team on her. And if I had the Momochi weapon, I would put it on her, and I would go with Shosen on Rinko. But I don't have Shosen at a right level, so that's another thing to consider. Lastly, I have two more. These are the ones that do not work that well, because Shiranui doesn't want to go green, she wants to go red. But I needed the supportive capabilities. Then Oboro on blue to deal damage and support the team. And this one does work. If I find a better team, I'll put Lapis, but this build for Lapis is amazing. Skydance, Moral Boost, Comet Spear with pure damage and the Momochi weapon is great. If you want to use a different weapon, if you have another Momochi weapon user, it is a good idea to use her character release weapon. That's nice. And lastly, we have Murasaki, we have Yukikase, and we have Shisui. In the case of this, it is a pretty bad build. This weapon, Hawiya, is amazing, but unfortunately, it wasn't enough to deal in a good amount of damage. And the levels are also not great, so take that into consideration. And yeah, it is not synergistic because it's 2 humans and 1 machine. You want machines on their own teams, like pure machine, basically. Or maybe machine demon if you have Astaroth, but like threshold Astaroth. But it is not like the greatest option. So, oops, and I didn't save the the Magatamas. That's also a thing that affected my score. That explains. So, anyways, That's about it, guys. That's what give me this kind of score is pretty big. But remember, everything depends on how you match your formations. That's what's going to give you the most damage, and that's why you have to consider using human teams or demon teams or machine teams of the same colors, especially when they're melee. When they are ranged, you can do a little bit more mixing, because in range teams, basically you're gonna do this and whatever you want. Maybe if it's full demons, you go with this one. If it's a mixture, you go with this one. But if you go with melee, again, it's basically this, the corresponding formation for the color, like first mission bond, and then home alone. So yeah, guys, that's about it. And don't forget, these are the weapons that you want in the armory to get maximum damage. Like, there are better formations, but I am not that pay to win, so consider using this. I don't like this particular formation because of the fact that you cannot use these weapons, and some of them are good, but it is a nice option to boost your strength. So anyways, that's about it for today. I hope you find this useful, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!